Hello, my name's Susan McCormack. I'm Director of Public Engagement at the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford. A warm welcome to our One World event, the fourth programme in this online festival series, which celebrates the many communities and faiths of Oxfordshire. Our festival theme is Light in the Darkness, a thematic thread that runs through all our events. But within this broader theme, each programme makes seasonal connections. As Chinese New Year was on Friday, Happy Year of the Ox, and Valentine's Day is today, our varied programme, Love and New Beginnings, reflects these themes through art, music and poetry, as well as a curator talk. There will also be mythical mask making, craft activity for families. We invite you to settle down to enjoy the full programme, which lasts about 1 hour and 20 minutes, or dip in and out as you wish. Remember too that if you'd like to watch it again or share it with friends, all our One More Festival programmes will be available soon after the broadcasting of each event on the Ashmolean's website and YouTube channel. To start our programme today, I'm delighted to introduce Zhang, Deputy Director of the Confucius Institute at Oxford Brookes University. Spring loves poetry and has selected a few of her favourite Chinese poems to share with you today, inspired by the theme of love. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Spring. Today I would like to share two of my favorite poems with you. The first one is from the Song Dynasty by Qin Guan. It tells the legend of Niu Lang and Zhi, a man and a goddess who fell in love but were permitted to meet just one day per year, a day that later became Chinese Valentine's Day. Many people cannot be with their loved ones at the moment, and this poem reminds us true love will withstand the time apart. Like hope in the darkness, we should stay strong for each other until the day we reunite, when we will cherish each other more. 鹊桥仙，秦观，纤云弄巧，飞星传恨，银汉迢迢暗度。金风玉露一相逢，便胜却人间无数。柔情似水，佳期如梦，忍顾鹊桥归路。两情若是久长时，又岂在朝朝暮暮。The second poem is from a famous contemporary Chinese poet Yu Xiuhua. She lives in a small village and has cerebral palsy, which results in speech and mobility difficulties. She wrote a lot of poetry of love. I think no matter who we are, what challenges we are facing, all is fair in love. We mustn't lose faith in love. It might bring you the new life and keep you going. I wish everyone in 2021 can find the love, peace and joy. 我爱你，余秀华。巴巴地活着，每天打水煮饭，按时吃药。阳光好的时候，就把自己放进去，像放一块陈皮。茶叶轮换着喝，菊花、茉莉、玫瑰、柠檬，这些美好的事物仿佛把我往春天的路上带。所以，我一次次按住内心的雪，它们过于洁白，过于接近春天。在干净的院子里读你的诗歌，这人间情事，恍惚如突然飞过的麻雀儿。而光阴皎洁，我不适宜肝肠寸断。如果给你寄一本书，我不会寄给你诗歌，我要给你一本关于植物、关于庄稼的，告诉你稻子和稗子的区别，告诉你一颗稗子提心吊胆的春天。
Thank you so much, Spring, for those wonderful poems. Hello, my name is Matthew Falk, and I sit on the One World Committee as a representative of the Jewish community in Oxford. So now I'm very pleased to introduce a film featuring distinguished artist Wang Limin, who's going to show us how you paint a Chinese ink painting freehand. And we'll also see in this work how he combines elements that bring good wishes for Chinese New Year. Wang Limin lives in Harbin, northeast China, and is well known throughout his country as an artist and a scholar. As well as creating beautiful ink paintings, he's also a calligrapher, seal cutter, art historian, poet and writer, with many publications to his name on Chinese calligraphy, seal cutting and ink paintings. This film has subtitles and an English voiceover.
各位朋友，在新年即将来临之际，祝大家新年快乐，
Wang
万事
Linen's
如意，
ink painting,
平安吉祥。
persimmons and
今天我
firecrackers.
给大家
In the
画一
broadest
幅
sense,
这
all
个
traditional
反映中国
Chinese painting is
新年
symbolic.
气氛
A well-known
的中国
example
画
is bamboo, which represents moral resistance, modesty, and loyalty, suggesting the noble spirit of the gentleman. Fruits in Chinese paintings also have their specific symbolic meanings. Persimmon, shi, in China is often planted in temple gardens as it is said to have 4 virtues: long life, sheltering birds, giving shade and freedom from insect pests. As shi, matter, business, affair sounds the same, it is used to combine with firecrackers to give good wishes for Chinese New Year, also known as Spring Festival, meaning all good wishes will be fulfilled in the coming year.
来源，这样的墨呢，能更好的反映画面啊。这是中国画的纸，中国画的纸呢，写意的花鸟画，我们一般的用生选啊。那么这是中国画的颜料，中国画的颜料呢，有这个矿物质的和植物做成的。那么我们先画这个柿子，柿子呢，我们一般用大红。
The red vermilion colours represent prosperity in the new year. Firecrackers are to scare away evil spirits and celebrate the arriving of the new year, and setting off firecrackers symbolises good fortune throughout the whole year.
那么我们画这个柿子的时候，大家注意，笔一定不要平铺下去啊，一定要逆风下去啊，大家看。 这是一笔，然后画下面的一半啊，这是一笔，这是一支，然后我们在上面再要画3个柿子啊。 这个柿子后面还有一个柿子啊。那么这个上面还有一只，我们再画一只啊，可以偏这面。 那么柿子还有一种画法啊，就是把这种柿子呢，我们用墨勾一下啊。那么勾的时候呢，墨稍微浓一些，用笔一定要苍老啊，苍劲啊。 这样的柿子啊，不要等它完全干了再勾，完全干了再勾呢，这个柿子这个墨就不会跑出来啊。那么这样的话呢，这柿子就显得非常的饱满有力量啊。那么我们接着画它的地啊地，这个地画这个 T 的时候，大家注意这个方向一定不要一致啊。 这 这个大家一看这个地画出来之后啊，它的画的这个柿子的感觉就出来了。然后我们要再画它的这个柿子的这个瓣儿，
In this work, the artist leaves large unpainted space. In Chinese art, an important theory is qi, which is often translated as life force. It is a metaphysical concept of cosmic power. Empty space allows qi to move, and whether there is a lively qi is the foremost criteria for judging a Chinese painting. Another important theory is achieving likeness through unlikeness. Qi Baishi, one of the greatest masters of the 20th century, stated, "Painting must be something between likeness and unlikeness. If it's much like the reality, the painting is vulgar. If it is too distant from reality, it would be kind of cheating." This theory explains the style that this work adapts.
显得非常的老了。中国画讲究古法用笔但是又不能画的太死用笔要灵动要有灵动。不要太死要灵动。中国画主要是用哲学的这个观点来看待事物它讲的呢是这个不是讲的有和无，它主要讲的是虚空讲的是虚空。它不是完全具象的用事物的具象的来表现世界，而是用一种这个哲学的这个认识论来看待世界。那么我们再把这面的它炮竹是两面，我们再把这面的炮竹画出来。看似很简单，但是我们表达的是一种这个和外在事物精神实质相关的这个笔墨。那么大家注意，它这个炮竹还有鸟儿，我们这个鸟儿从中间出来，然后过到这颗引线上也要画得很随意，不要太局促那么这个引线还要出来两根点，用点火的地方，这个点火地方非常轻松，后面它还有一个打结的地方，那么下面我们就要给这个炮竹上色了，先主要是上这个红色以红色为主。
In this video, the artist Wang Limin demonstrates the process of painting a Chinese ink painting in freehand style and explain the process of painting persimmons and firecrackers.
有些地方 还要保持它的这个自然性啊。流出来的地方就是我们鞭炮还有不同的颜色啊，大家注意，我们鞭炮还有不同的颜色，那么我们要留出一些个作为调节啊。比如说我们有黄色。
Wang Limin, pen names Liming Wuliang, courtesy names Hongshu and Mugong, lives in Harbin, northeast China. He's a well-known all-round artist and scholar in China. He has inherited Chinese literati tradition. Apart from being an ink painting artist, he is also a well-known calligrapher, seal-cutting artist, art historian, poet and writer, with publications of over 100 papers and 5 books on Chinese calligraphy, seal-cutting and ink paintings. He is a national first-grade artist, member of Chinese Artists Association, Chinese Calligraphers Association, Chinese Writers Association, and member of Ziling Seal Art Society.
This is 二踢脚的引线啊。 我们下面这个也可以画啊，这个再丰富它啊，画几个二踢脚啊。那么为了丰富整个的画面，我们还要再画几个这个从这个鞭炮落下来的一些个小的这个鞭炮啊，这个。 哎，这就非常有趣味了。哎，这个也可以再加几只啊，再加几只。那么我们再把这几个这个大的二踢脚上颜色。小的二踢脚，我们也可以上不同的颜色，小的鞭炮啊。那么这一幅的 这个整个的画面就算完成了。完成了，我们还要题字。题字是这一幅画的非常重要的组成部分啊，大家注意啊。
He added an inscription with Great Seal script having a prosperous new year, and also added 3 seals, his name, pen name, and date.
"庚子岁末啊，就是在今年的岁末马上要过年的时候啊，写上姓名王立民啊。那么这时候我们开始盖章啊，先盖一个名章啊，立民的名章。盖章的时候，下面要垫上一本书啊。这是立民的名章。我们还可以盖上一个闲章啊，这个闲章也是为了保持画面的丰富。这个闲章呢，要盖到这个压脚章要盖到这个角上。我们上面呢还要盖一个今年的年号的章啊，庚子年年号的章。这个可以盖到上面啊，这个3个印章形成三角形啊，盖到这个地方。那么这幅画啊，就算完成了啊，一幅画啊，用事事如意啊，鞭炮的火红，祝大家红红火火过大年，谢谢大家。
Many thanks to Wang Lima. It was fascinating to watch the creation of your wonderful painting. Such a great way to celebrate Chinese New Year. And now for some music. I'm delighted to introduce 2 songs by Yi Jia, a singer-songwriter, composer, and ethnomusicologist from China, who's interested in exploring her cultural identity and roots through music making. Yi Jia launched her music career as a singer-songwriter in China, winning several awards, including the 16th Chinese Music Award for Media's Choice Album. And she was also nominated for Best New Chinese Female Artist for the Chinese Media Music Awards. Yi Jia then came to the UK to study music at SOAS in London, and is currently completing her Masters in Musicology here at the University of Oxford. Yi Jia's first song, Spring Haze, was written during the first lockdown last spring. It's about dreaming of escaping from being stuck in a space, but ultimately recognising the importance of embracing reality. It was written for the traditional Chinese instrument, the guzheng, a 21-stringed pentatonic instrument which has ancient origins. Her second song was written for voice and acoustic guitar. Thank you so much, Yi Jia.
The spring haze inside a room of isolation. I'm lost inside my own space. I'm lost my only key to escape. Somewhere in the spring haze. The spring maze is like a dream you can't away from. I'm locked inside my own space, but this time I have to learn to face to face with my spring haze. I can't find the keys for me to be free. I scream, but only I can hear me. I can look for something that doesn't exist. It's a dream, but only I can wake me. It's a dream, but only I can wake me up. Face to face was my spring man.夜半三更又盼天明，寒冬腊月又盼春风。若要盼得有梦君来，岭上开遍有我一山红。夜半三更又盼天明，寒冬腊月又盼春风。若要盼得有梦君来，岭上开遍有我一山红。若要盼得有梦君 很红，岭上开遍有一身红，岭上开遍有一身红，夜半三更有半天明，寒冬腊月有半春风，若要盼得有红军来，岭上开遍有一山红，若要盼得有红军来，岭上开遍有一山红，岭上开遍有一山红，岭上开遍有一山红，岭上开遍有一山红。
Many thanks for those beautiful songs, Yijia. Next, a talk from Claire Pollard, curator of Japanese art at the Ashmolean. Claire will be talking about Kogane in Musashi Province, a woodblock print by Utogawa Hiroshige, which shows the beginning of spring and reflects hope and new beginnings. Thank you, Claire.
Hello, my name's Claire Pollard and I'm curator of Japanese art at the Ashmolean Museum. Today I'd like to share with you some thoughts on one of my favourite Japanese woodblock prints from the museum's Japanese collection. It's by the print designer Utogawa Hiroshige, one of the best known of all Japanese print artists. He was working in the middle of the 19th century, and although he created a whole range of prints including designs of beautiful women, kabuki actors, famous warriors, birds and flowers, he's most famous for his landscape prints which capture brilliantly the effects of season, weather and time of day. This print shows flowering cherry trees along a riverbank in springtime, and I've chosen it because it's such a happy, optimistic, spring-like image, which felt quite suitable for now, when we're all fed up of winter and of lockdown and eager to see signs of new beginnings. The print's title, which you can see in the red rectangle at the top right, is Kogane in Musashi Province. This is an area now in the western suburbs of Tokyo, but in 1858, when the print was made, was a rural area that was famous for its spring blossom. At this spot, several thousand cherry trees lined a 2.5-mile stretch of river, and visitors travelled from all over Japan to view the flowers in springtime. The scene's just bursting with signs of spring. The clouds of pale pink cherry blossoms, the colourful flowers and vivid greenery on the riverbanks, and the little birds flying around overhead. And the sky has a lovely pinkish glow near the horizon, as if the trees are lighting it up. Although the cheerful bright blues and greens and reds aren't at all realistic, I think somehow they magically capture the excitement and optimism of spring. You can almost feel the gentle sunshine and hear the birdsong and the sounds of the water flowing past. Although this print is Hiroshige's vision, and it's his signature you see at the bottom left, he was in fact working as part of a team of skilled craftsmen, alongside a woodblock carver and a printer, all three working together to create this beautifully executed piece. Imagine the skill required to cut the fine lines of the Japanese characters, or the detail on the bark of the trees, and the way the printers created a soft gradation of blue pigment in the river, and the subtle brown overprinting on the tree trunk in the foreground to represent that very distinctive texture of cherry bark. A different block would have been used for each different colour, but look how beautifully they work together. This spot in Kogane was a great place from which to view Mount Fuji, and the print is part of a series called 36 Views of Mount Fuji, Hiroshige's final print series. Mount Fuji is regarded as a sacred place in Japan and as a symbol of the country itself. Hiroshige's views of Fuji show the mountain in each of the 4 seasons and from a variety of vantage points. This work is one of the most unusual views in the series, with Mount Fuji glimpsed through a split in the trunk of an ancient cherry tree. It always makes me smile that the main subject of the print, Mount Fuji, is only just visible through a hole in an old tree trunk. The way Hiroshige has cropped the tree trunk in the foreground so that it extends beyond the borders of the print frame draws the viewer into the print, almost as if you're standing under the tree yourself. This kind of bold composition was one of the features that made a strong impression on European avant-garde artists in the late 19th century. Hiroshige's landscape prints were collected by many European artists of the time, including Manet, Monet, Degas, Van Gogh and Whistler, who were all inspired by the freedom they offered from imitative or photographic representation. What I particularly love about this print is the striking contrast between the happy, harmonious spring imagery and the more melancholy forms of the 2 aged cherry trees, the one in the foreground and the one right in the middle of the print. This seems to give a message of hope, that spring will arrive whatever happens. And spring isn't just happening around the old trees, these old withered trees themselves are still producing beautiful branches of blossom. Of course, the cherry blossom will only flower for a very short time before the petals fall, which makes their beauty something ephemeral and fleeting, but all the more exquisite as a result. An appreciation of this melancholy, bittersweet beauty is a key concept in Japanese art and literature. In fact, there's an expression for it, mono no aware, which can be translated as the pathos of things. It's an idea that's rooted in Japan's traditional Shinto beliefs that emphasise an awareness of and a respect for the natural world, but it also links to the Buddhist notion of the impermanence of all things. Just a few years before Hiroshige designed this print, his hometown Edo, modern-day Tokyo, had suffered a catastrophic earthquake that destroyed much of the city and killed 10,000 of its citizens. I think for Hiroshige, the cherry blossoms flowering so abundantly around the broken trees were probably not just a pretty spring flower, but also a symbol of hope and regeneration at a difficult time, which makes this print all the more interesting, and also perhaps more relevant to us now.
Thank you so much, Claire, for that excellent talk. I'd now like to introduce a family craft activity created by Mani from Fusion Arts. Fusion Arts is an Oxford-based charity that devises and delivers creative projects in the local and the wider communities. Mani will be showing you how to make a mythical mask. This mask is inspired by an Assyrian relief from the Ashmolean, showing a winged, bird-headed supernatural spirit that guarded against the forces of chaos, which is exactly what we all need at the moment. Over to you, Mani, and thank you very much.
Hello, my name's Manny, I'm a local Oxford artist and I'm here to help you create a mythical mask. It's an art project as part of the Ashmolean's One World Festival, and the museum has always been a great source of creative imagination and inspiration for visitors and artists alike. And with that in mind, I'd like to focus on one magnificent piece in the collection that has been an inspiration for this project. Yes, I'm no expert myself, but I would love to take this opportunity to talk about the winged genie of Assur-nazir-pal II, whose pronunciation I get wrong every time. He had such titles as the glorious king of all lands, king of the four corners of the world, king of all peoples, but more importantly for this context, he was king of Assyria. This beautifully rendered carved slab was one of many epic reliefs that line the walls of the king's palace at Nimrud, the capital of Assyria, or his capital of Assyria. He moved the capital to this location, which is now located in modern-day Iraq, near Mosul. Assyria, which started in about the 2nd millennium BC, was a vast swathe of land in what was known as Mesopotamia. Brilliant word, no. Meaning the land between the rivers. These rivers were the Tigris River and the Euphrates River, and this, along with the Nile River, made up what was known as the Fertile Crescent, which provided what was perfect for cultivation and allowed for established civilizations to develop in all sorts of different ways, including culture. The Assyrian kingdom is considered by historians to be the first true empire, and at its height in about 7th century BC, it provided a series of innovations that effectively laid the groundwork for the superpowers that followed. They were amazing with administration and infrastructure, but the innovations, in my opinion, are the really thing that excites me and has helped us for this project. I mean, their wonders, I really wish we could go back in time and see them, but their wonders included the temples, the palaces, they had a vast library, an elaborate botanical and zoological parks, and they had keen specialities, studying medicine to magic, and they had this library as well. They did all this stuff in clay tablets and a text called cuneiform, where they wrote down their achievements and their exploits. And they also then created these vast reliefs like our winged genie. The genie's purpose was to keep out the forces of chaos! And reliefs like this of supernatural spirits were erected at doorways and walls of ritually significant areas in palaces, offering a magical protection. These sculptures would have originally been highlighted in all sorts of different colour and paint, and I hope we together can create a colourful, mythical mask that embodies the spirit of this incredible archaeological find. Let's get on to making some art. Huzzah! Hey, let's go make some artwork. So to begin with, it's always good to get hold of some materials, supplies, everything you need to produce a good quality project. And to begin with, always scissors, pen, and sellotape, and a good bit of quality card. Now, there's no means to say you could use a cereal box or some cardboard or something from your recycling as a base instead, but for this purposes, I've got a couple of sheets of A4. Now, there's a guide that accompanies this, so if you want to go by step and you watch the video and the paper guide, you can download it, print it, or just follow on with on a tablet. Anyway, that's it and done. Let's get cracking. So the first thing you need to do is to create your mask base. And with this, I'm going to fold this sheet in half, like so. So we have a nice fold here. Now, as you can see here, I've done a rough design of the sort of mask shape I want to do, and we're going to draw the design so on the fold line, so then when you draw it out and then you cut it, you get two pieces, so it's equal on both sides. Now, don't worry too much if you make a mistake on the drawing, because this can be the back side, and thus no one can see it because you can put it onto your face properly. So thus all your mistakes will be hidden, and that's the joy of art. And a lot of times, if you do make a mistake, you learn from it. So that's said and done. Let's get cracking. Let's draw a design and cut it out. So now you've cut out your base shape for your mask, and if you unfold it, look, here's my sketch side, like that. And now for the next bit, what you need to do is put this towards your face, and so put it on your face so you know exactly it. But if you do it halfway, you can work out where sort of your eye is. So I've done this just before, and I want you to draw here a line, like so. So this is going to be your insert line for your scissors, and then I'm going to cut out an eyelid shape, and I'm going to give a little flick just to give some flair. And as before, it doesn't matter too much because this is on the back side, so be sure to draw it on the same side you draw with. So I'm just going to do a little flick, and then I'm going to cut in here and then cut out the eye, so like so. Remember to keep it folded in half. One cut like this, cut round, cut round, and then put those scissors down safely. Be sure always to be safe with the scissors. As you can see now, you should have an eye slit. So two eyes there, and then I'm going to put a bit of tape there and a bit of tape on the other side, and just make sure that folds safe. And you've created your base piece. Ta-da! Now you've got your base, now you're going to move on to making the beak. So if you just put this just to one side over here, I've got another sheet of A4 card, and instead of folding it this way, landscape, I'm going to keep it set landscape, I'm going to fold it this way to create some length. So I'm going to do a nice solid fold, and as before, this fold acts as a piece of symmetry. Then on here, I'm going to draw a beak design. Now the joy of this is you can make an enormous beak or you can make a short beak. But for my purposes, I'm going to go for a reasonably short, well, medium beak. So I'm going to go like so, and I'm going to do a curve here, like that. So you can see like there, we've got our beak. I'm going to trim off there, so I'm going to cut that open. Right, and as you can see there, we have a full beak. Now you could have this really, really long, but I don't want to, so I'm going to cut this down like so. And then you've got that here, so you can unfold that. So just to be folding it nice and clear. So So we've got the other side, so we've got our drawing side on the inside and our main side on the outside. Now I'm going to take a bit of tape there and tape that there and there to keep it together. As you can see with my tape, try not to do a whole massive bit of tape. Sometimes it's better just to have 2 small pieces of tape, like so. So I'm going to take that tape and just go just at the top here. And then again, I'm going to repeat the process at the bottom of the beak, like so. Just fold that over so it's got a nice fold. And then you should have something, whoop, like this. Ta-da! Right, the next bit is the important bit. You need to do a slit at the rear, so you can see that there. So I'm going to go about 3 centimeters, maybe a little bit more there. And that slit is very helpful because that allows, if I get the mask, it allows it to slot back in, and you can work out kind of the direction of where you want, or how you want your beak to sit. So then with that fold here, you can use that to dictate. I'm going to go slightly just like that. I'm going to fold on this side, and then what I do on one side here I can then repeat, so I can flip that over like so, and it allows it to open up to have my beak shape. So then when I go and open this up, I've got a beak shape, something like this. Now this is the fun bit where you can adjust how you want your beak to be, and then you can tape down these 2 bits and then trim off any excess here. Right, so now we've got our mask. So we've got a base and we've got a beak, and it's quite fun now just to kind of put it on your face and prance about a bit. But I want to add some feathers. Our winged genie had quite a lot of feathers, so I'm going to do a nice bit of plumage here. So next phase, feathers. So as you can see here, we've got our mask and we've got our beak sorted out, but I want to add some feathers to the equation. I want to make some plumage, and the best way to do that is to get another sheet separate. Obviously I've kind of got a theme of orange here, so I thought, oh, let's go for another tone. And the fun thing about using white paper is you can colour it in afterwards, or like I said, if you've got newspaper, you can have a whole load of feathers out of newspaper. Now the process is fairly simple, but you have to repeat it. So I'm going to do one here, and hopefully from there you can repeat. So again, you can take this A4 sheet, I'm going to fold it in half here, and to maximise the amount of feathers, you can generally get 3 sheets out of 1. So what I've done here is then I've gone that, and I've just cut this here, so I've got, like before, we've used the fold line very effectively, so we've got 1 fold line, but it doesn't mean to say you've got 2 more here. So look, you can get that, and then look already, I've got another one, and there's another one there, and as they say in many of these shows, here's some I done earlier. So now you've got this shape here, you can draw out your feather design. So as before, now you've got your folded sheet, you get your pen and you just draw a design on one side of your feather. So I'm going to go like so, and I'm going to go here, right here. So I'm going to cut that up. Now the magic of this, as before, is what you cut on one side allows a bit of symmetry on the other. So, so I've got that there. Now, for you clever people out there, you can hold on to this and use it as a template, so you can get the same shape feather over and over again. Now the trick of this is, now once you've got it, is you've got a shape like this, which kind of looks like a leaf, but if you refold it together and get your scissors, what you can do, and I recommend starting at the top, is do cuts going all the way down. Now you don't want to cut over the fold line, but you can cut fairly close to it to create a pretty cool feather effect of all the different bits. So here we go. So just a little more safely. So now you can see here, it's pretty cool. And now you've got that one there, and you've got the template for your design. You can come up to another piece and draw it again and repeat the process until you've got lots of feathers. Ta-da! So yes, like I've said before, once you've got one, you can repeat and go and go and again. Look, on this one I've got some nice thin ones. I've even used some of the excess card that we had left over and made some little tiny little feathers. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So I've got a nice array of plumage here. And like I said before, although I've just used coloured paper and card, that means you could just have white paper and then draw and colour them in and add some colour and some fun flicks, much like our winged genie was highlighted with colour. Anyway, moving on. We want to apply these to our mask with our cracking beak and face. And what I recommend doing is working from the centre outwards. So you want to go in reverse, get your tape handy. It's always good to have a good dispenser, although I do not have one. Anyway, so I'm going to take one here like so, And then I'm just going to splay that end bit there. And sometimes it's easier just to apply the tape first. Sometimes you need 2 bits of tape. So you do that first bit of tape there, you apply it in position, and then you, whoop, I made a slight error there. I can apply it there like that, and I can refold that in like so. And there's no means to say you can add a little bit of glue if you want, but if it's feeling a bit wobbly, it never hurts to add another bit of tape, because they won't see this on the back side, so you want to try and apply as much tape as you can on the back. And then look, I've got that first plume, and I'm going to build up on both sides and all around that way. I can even go, if you're feeling a bit adventurous, you can go that way outwards and create small, using the smaller feathers in particular. I keep dropping them, unfortunately, but you can see what I mean. You can create all sorts of different shapes. You can create some eyelashes like that, or you can cut them in half and then use them that way. So yeah, just play around with it, see what you get. Ta-da! Bom, 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 bom. And there we have it. There is my mythical mask based on the winged genie of Assyria from the relief. And the key thing about this is just have some fun, have some imagination, really have a go at it. I mean, it's a really great piece of art once you complete it. The last thing to note is, if you want to stay this on your face, you can make a little punctuated hole into the side there and on the other side, and apply some elastic or some string and then tie it around your face. It's always good to have someone handy to help you with this, but you can achieve it on your own. Also, it's also worth saying that when you do this, when you apply all the feathers, that is, it's always good just to cut off a little bit extra there. So for example, I had that long end nib, and then if I was going like that, so it wouldn't go into the eye line. So then when you see it, it's finished and completed, you should have something rather magnificent. Yeah, so good luck. I feel very confident that you should produce something, well, quite magical. Ta-ra, bye. And there we have it. There is my mythical mask based on the Assyrian winged genie relief, which is, like I said, a magnificent piece of history. I want to say a massive thank you to the Ashmolean, and I want to say a massive thank you for you. I really hope you enjoy this project. I really hope you produce some fantastic artwork, and I'm very much looking forward to returning to the Ashmolean and seeing this in real life. Warmest regards to everyone. I hope everyone is okay. I hope everyone stays safe, and yeah, have some fun, make some masks, make some art. All the best. Thank you.
What an amazing mask. Thank you, Manny. Next, we have poetry from Syria, written and performed by rising star Muradi Bakir, an inspiring poet and storyteller. Forced to flee her home and loved ones due to the ongoing Syrian civil war, Muradi will be sharing her raw and confronting work, translated from the original Arabic. She'll be exploring the theme of light in the darkness, and for this event, love and new beginnings, displacement, home, and what it means to be a refugee. Thank you, Muradi, for sharing your work with us.
دعونا نقف دقيقة صمت. دعونا نقف دقيقة صمت على روح إنسانيتنا التي تلفظ أنفاسها الأخيرة. إنسانيتنا التي تموت تدريجيا. فنحن نحاسب على أشياء لم نختارها. نحاسب على ديننا ولم نختاره. ونحاسب على لون بشرتنا ولم نختارها. ونحاسب على عرقنا ولم نختاره. فالإنسانية لا تعرف لا لون ولا دين ولا عرق. فمحاسبتنا على أشياء ولدنا فيها ولم نختارها تعني أننا تجردنا من الإنسانية. فنحن علينا أن نحترم بعضنا البعض مهما كان لون بشرتنا، مهما كان ديننا، ومهما كان عرقنا. فبالنهاية كلنا بشر، فنحن خلقنا بأشياء لم نختارها ولا نستطيع أن نغيرها. بدلاً من معاقبتنا بأشياء لم نختارها ولا نستطيع تغييرها، دعونا أن نقف بجانب بعضنا البعض ونساند بعضنا البعض ونحترم بعضنا البعض. يجب أن تكون عقولنا وإنسانيتنا أكبر من هذا بكثير. أكبر من التنمر على بعضنا البعض ونهاجم بعضنا البعض. فالحياة قصيرة يا أصدقائي، أكثر من ما نرى. فلماذا نضيعها بالتنمر بأفعالنا العنصرية وأقوالنا العنصرية؟ يجب أن لا نضيع حياتنا بقول هذا أسود وهذا أبيض وهذا بني وهذا طويل وهذا قصير وهذا سمين جدا وهذا نحيف جدا وهذا لاجئ بدون وطن. فبالنهاية كلنا بشر، يشعر ويتألم من الكلام الجارح ويضحك ويبكي ويتألم ويمرض. يجب علينا أن نحب بعضنا البعض، يكفي تنمر وإساءة على بعضنا. فبعد أن هاجرت الطيور أوطانها، وبعد أن سكنت الأرواح أكفانها، وبعد أن تشردنا وقتلنا ونحن أبرياء، يأتيك عنصري ليقول لك ارحل إلى بلدك. يأتينا عنصري لا يعرف نحن كم عانينا وكم ضحينا وكم خسرنا وكم مرة قتلنا وكم مرة أحيينا وكم من حبيب وقريب فقدنا، ليقول لنا ببساطة ارحلوا من هنا، ارحلوا، هذا ليس بلدكم. أحب أن تطمئن يا صديقي، فأنا لست أمير على عرش غيري، فأنا هنا باحث عن الأمان لأعيش أنا وأطفالي بسلام، وأنت تجرحني بكلماتك الأنانية والعنصرية. يكفينا إهانة، فنحن كنا مثلك، لدينا وطن وعائلة، وكنا سعداء مثلك، ولكن شاء القدر أن يشردنا ويعذبنا. لقد شاء القدر أن يصبح الحر أسير والأمير خادم. أقول لك لا تقلق يا صديقي، فنحن لسنا سعيدين بوطنك كما تظن. هل تعرف أنا كل ليلة أنام فيها دموعي تبلل وسادتي كمطر الشتاء الغاضب، ودموعي تسيل على خدي من حرقة قلبي على من فارقت من الأحبة. فكيف أنام دون بكاء وأمي ساهر الليل تبكي من حرقتها، حرقة قلبها على من فارقت من أولادها، ومن قتل منا ومن تشرد منا، على من أصبح عبدا مأمورا يطيع وينفذ أوامر أسياده دون حتى نقاش، بعد أن كنا أولادها المدللين. فكيف أنام دون أن أبكي وأنا لا أستطيع أن أنسى ذلك المشهد عندما كان أبي يلفظ أنفاسه الأخيرة وهو يهذي باسمي؟ فكيف أنام وإخوتي ترتجف من البرد في المخيمات ويصرخون ويتضورون جوعا؟ فكيف أنام وأسعد في بلدك وأنا أحلم كل ليلة متى وكيف سأرى أمي، وأتخيل كيف سأرتمي بين أحضانها وذراعيها وصدرها الحنون لتغمرني بحنانها وحبها، فلا يهم إذا مت بعدها. هذا هو حلمي. في الحياة فليس هناك ما يقلقك مني يا صديقي. إذا لا تريد أن تفهمني وتشعر بمعاناتي، على الأقل اتركني وشأني، اتركني أعيش بسلام مع أحزاني وذكرياتي المؤلمة. اتركني وشأني أرجوك. أحب أن أقول لكل أصدقائنا وكل من يساعدنا ويساندنا، أقول لهم لا تقلقوا، فنحن أقوياء، لن نستسلم رغم معاناتنا في الماضي والحاضر، لن نستسلم وأنتم حولنا تشعرون بآلامنا وكبر مصيبتنا. شكرا لكم جميعا، شكرا لأنكم تدعمونا بإنسانيتكم العظيمة وحنيتكم ومساعدتكم لنا لكي نبقى على قيد الحياة. لا تقلقوا علينا، لن نستسلم حتى يموت حزننا أو نموت نحن. شكرا على كل شيء. Let us observe a minute silence. Let us observe a minute silence on the soul of our humanity that is taking its last breath, our humanity that is dying gradually. For we are held responsible for future we did not choose. We are held responsible for our religion that we did not choose. We are held responsible for the color of our complexion, and we did not choose it. We are held responsible for our race. We did not choose it. Humanity does not know color, religion, or race. For holding us responsible for feature we were born with and did not choose means that we have all discarded our humanity. We have to respect each other, whatever our color, whatever our religion, and whatever our race. Ultimately, we are all human beings. We were created with features we did not choose and cannot change. And instead of punishing us, let us stand together and support each other and respect each other. Our mentality and the humanity must be much bigger than this. Better than bullying each other and attacking each other, we should understand and support each other. For life is shorter than we can see, my friends. So why do we waste it on bullying? Through our racist acts and racist words. We mustn't waste our lives by saying this person is black, and this is white, and this is brown, and this is tall, and this is short, and this is too fat, and this is too thin, and this is a stateless refugee. Ultimately, we are all human beings who feel the pain of wounding words and laugh and cry and hurt and fall sick. We have to love each other. Enough of bullying and insults. After birds have migrated from their homes, and after souls have rested on their shrouds, after we have been displaced and killed despite being innocent, a racist comes to us and says, "Go back home." A racist does not know how much we have suffered, how much we have lost, how often we have been killed and resurrected, and how many loved ones and relatives we have lost. You tell us so easily to go away from here because this is not our country. I would like you to be aware, my friend, that I am not a prince on someone else's throne, because I am here searching for safety, to live with my children in peace, and you wound me with your selfish and racist words. We have had enough humiliation. We were once like you. We had a home country and family. And we're happy like you. But fate chose to displace us and make us suffer. Fate chose to make the free a prisoner and the prince a servant. I tell you, my friend, do not worry, for we are not as happy in your country as you think. Do you know that every night at bedtime my tears wet my pillow like angry winter's rain? My tears run down my cheeks because of my heart-breaking longing for the loved ones I miss. How can I sleep without crying when my mother spent her night weeping from the heartache of missing her children, and those of us who were killed, and those who were displaced, and those who became slaves, obeying and executing their master's orders without discussion, after we have been her treasured children? How can I sleep without crying when I cannot forget the sense of my father taking his last breath while uttering my name? How can I sleep while my siblings suffer of cold in the camps, screaming with hunger pains? How can I sleep and enjoying being in your country when I dream every night of when and how I will see my mother, and imagine how I am going to throw myself into her warm embrace, between her arms, and into her compassionate bosom, to submerge me with her love, and it does not matter if I die afterwards. This is my dream in life, so you have no reason to be concerned because of me, my friend. If you do not want to understand me and feel my suffering, then at least leave me alone. Leave me to live in peace with my sorrows and sad memories. Please leave me alone. I would like to say to all our friends and to all our supporters, do not worry. We are strong. We will never give up, despite our suffering in the past and the present. We will not give up while you are around us and can feel our pain and the great tragedy. Thank you all for supporting us with your great humanity and compassion, so that we can stay alive. Do not worry over us, for we will not give up until our sorrow dies or we die. Thank you for everything.
Wow, that was such powerful poetry. Thank you very much, Muradi, for that performance. Our final film comes from the Oxford Rumi study group, entitled All of Us Love, which makes reference to our theme of love and new beginnings through poetic text and 3 pieces of music. Valentine's Day and Chinese New Year are clear sources of inspiration. The Oxford Rumi study group worked towards promoting social cohesion and peaceful coexistence through the sharing of world poetry, songs and music. The group has participated in many festivals and produced literary and musical work on a regular basis, involving a diverse spectrum of artists and musicians. Current work features Oxford-based artists Elizabeth Spite, singer and dancer, J. Rumi, philosopher and poet, and musicians Trish Elphinstone, Bruno Guastella, and Malcolm Atkins. With thanks to you all.
We humans, through our need to and relation with each other, and particularly through romantic relationships, discover areas of our being that we won't have the opportunity of ever knowing without this kind of emotionally profound connections. We mark the significance of our special romantic association with each other in various forms and manifestations, of which one is the Valentine Day. This occasion has gained global popularity as romance is not restricted to a group of people, and love can be demonstrably found in the songs and literatures of all races and nations. Here are a few examples. Starting with China, and in way of celebrating the Chinese New Year, it is interesting to know that Lao Tzu, the author of Tao Te Ching, has said about love. He said, "Love is of all passions the strongest, for it attacks simultaneously the head, the heart, and the senses." He also said, being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. Here's a musical tribute by Trish Elphinstone to both occasions. Elsewhere in India, Rabindranath Tagore writes on love, "I seem to have loved you in numberless forms, numberless times, in life after life, in age after age, forever. My spellbound heart has made and remade the necklace of songs that you take as a gift, wear round your neck in your many forms, in life after life, forever." Here's a musical tribute made to those occasions by Mel Atkins and Lizzie Spite.
On these fine while you live, shine. Mead and holos syllable, have no grief at all. Pros olegon estito thin. Life exists only for a short while. Tolos, hochronos. Time demands its toll.
In Anatolia, Rumi also spoke extensively about love. In a beautiful ghazal, he illustrates his romantic sentiments in the following way. The minute I heard my first love story, I started looking for you, not knowing how blind that was. Lovers don't finally meet somewhere. They are in each other all along. Lastly, Khalil Gibran believes life without love is like a tree without blossoms or fruit. We say to all happy Valentine's Day, and we conclude by a tribute offered musically by Bruno Guastella for these occasions.
Huge thanks to the Oxford Rumi Study Group for their contribution. Well, that's it from me today. It's been a privilege to introduce these wonderful artists from all over the world. So now I'd just like to hand over briefly to Susan to say goodbye.
Thank you, Matthew. And many thanks to all the wonderful scholars and poets and artists and musicians that contributed to the event today. It was wonderful to have you all here. Thanks also to the One World Committee, who each year work with us to shape and programme the One World Festival. It's wonderful to work with them. Thanks also to all of you for taking part today, and we hope that you'll be able to come to our next festival event, which is on Sunday the 7th of March at 2:30 p.m. The event is called Spring Fusion, and it will offer a varied programme of music, arts and crafts. Once again, Happy Chinese New Year, and also Happy Valentine's Day, with love from us all here at the Ashmolean Museum. Thank you for coming. Goodbye, everyone. Stay safe and take care.